Chris, is your father late again today?
It seems so, but he's been stressed this week, so I can text him.
What's he been stressed about?
He threw at me, I'm 71 years old. He covered a hockey game. He did 2 shows, and he may have brought up that he's only paid for twice a week here. I don't know. That's something between you and him.
Billy, what are you laughing at there?
I'm not super following the Panthers yet. So is the hockey game 3 days ago?
It was Tuesday night.
Yeah. Well, takes time to 71. That's big age.
So we've talked before about the self-awareness on people when it is in sports that they realize they need to retire. The old defensive end for the Dolphins when he was playing for the Raiders, Trace Armstrong, he'd watch himself on film and he'd be like, "Ooh, I've got to quit." Your dad saying I'm 71 when being asked to work a day after we had a meeting about caring. He seems ready to retire.
In his defense, I didn't see him in that meeting, so he may not have heard it.
No, but I'm just saying in general, he should do what he wants. He is 71, but once you get to the point that you say, I'm 71, as a way to not want to work, perhaps it's time you retire.
But he's been saying it since 67, though, right? I'm 68 years old now. I'm 69. I can't keep doing this. So the 71 doesn't change all that much.
Is he tired? Because the hockey season just started. So what's he headed for? He didn't have time to shower. He was already too tired to shower after the first hockey game of the season. So where are we with him? We're watching the end of this career, correct? We're going to broadcast the end of his career if he's already saying, I'm 71 and I've worked twice this week.
He has to recover from a 5 o'clock hockey start 2 days ago.
That's what's being alleged, I think. Get him on the phone. Is he coming in? Do you know it? Because I know your father over the years. Once he starts with this, he's liable to just not show up.
Wait, so he missed game 2, which was last night, right? Because Roy left at noon yesterday because got a Panthers game. We're what? Why do you have to leave so early for a hockey game?
Roy wore that jersey that Rose gave him to the hockey game, right? Because Roy, since
he didn't.
That was a big question. No. I wish Roy was in so we could ask him because we were debating back here, is he going to wear that or not? Because it's a great commercial for his hockey show, but then there's also no jerseys in the press box. So we were kind of conflicted.
Remember, this is a guy that told us and admitted that he picked his daughter up and walked into school in full hockey gear before one of his training sessions.
Awesome. We actually are going to be able to ask Roy because I think he's not coming in for the show, but he's coming in for his show later.
Yes, that's right.
So there's that.
I think he wore jersey with a blazer on top. It was
that's a good look.
This is business.
I'm guessing that he was very happy and very proud of what Rose gave him yesterday. It was a beautiful jersey that she had made that celebrates the hockey show. I'm guessing he wore it to the Panther game. You guys don't agree with that? You guys think that Roy, since I've known him, has been the only person here who would be willing to wear his last name on a jersey at a sporting event. None of you would do that. No, there's no one else in the history of this company who would actually do what Roy does. 10 years ago, his name is on the jersey on the back, and he proudly wears it out. None of you do that.
No, we're grown-ups.
Yeah, I
mean,
it's
the oddest thing he does.
If we have to, we will.
No,
but
I don't have to.
No,
There's
I
never a
don't.
scenario I have to.
Well, sometimes you're gifted a jersey.
We played a media softball game once with the Marlins gave us jerseys with our names and a number on it.
I
So that I wore for that day. Haven't worn it still in my closet.
I saw Billy at College Game Day a couple of weeks ago, and he was wearing a Gill FIU jersey.
That is fair. I did do that because I was wearing the Miami Vice edition jersey, but it had my last name on it. I had to decide what to wear. My dad was so nervous when I was going in an FIU jersey to College Game Day. He's like, take that off right now. People are going to be fighting. I'm like, they are not going to be fighting me about an FIU jersey.
Nobody cares, trust me.
I can't believe it.
He was worried for your safety?
He was worried that I was going to be an irritant at College Game Day because I was explaining to him, you don't understand. People go and you just represent. It's a celebration of college football. You go, you take a banner, a flag of whatever college you're representing. It's not a big deal. And I was also like, they're playing the Gators. There's going to be so many more Gators fans than FIU people that are trying to start problems.
Your dad was worried about hooligans?
He was worried about
hooligans.
I think he was worried about me potentially inciting hooliganism by chanting "paws up" at people as I walked by them.
I'm with Billy's dad on this. You don't wear another jersey when you're going to a
You
game.
have to.
When you're going to a game with two teams, you wear those two teams.
No,
and
it's
that's
college
it.
game day. That's a different situation.
fine. Maybe I'll
college
give you a pass.
game day.
Maybe
and
I'll
they're
give
in
you a
my hometown. They came. It was a big one. FIU had a big one that week. They lost, but
So your father was worried that you would go.
he wore an orange shirt, and I was offended. I said, "What are you wearing? What am I wearing? What are you wearing, sir?"
You're changing on the fly. Hit checks, metrics are gonna make them cheer. But the bombs are determined riding high. Now it's time for action. Tonight's gonna burn this bar right up. Slap shot will light the lamp so nice. Let's go for a breakaway on the chase to raise the cup. We'll be standing on our heads till we meet them at center ice. Hockey is back, Jack. Hockey is back, Jack. Hockey is back, Jack, baby, and we'll meet you at center ice.
We run a weird company here, so I don't know if Greg Cody is showing up for work. Please call Roy. I'd like to ask him if he wore the jersey to the game last night where the Panthers became 2-0 and Marchand continues to cement himself as a Florida legend whose name we don't know how to pronounce. Don't know if it's Marchand or Marchand. We'll probably figure it out before he's done. Jeremy, the wokest among us, is offending how many different groups of people today with his costume? How many different people is he attempting to offend?
It's at least 3.
Yeah, it's weird.
We should have thought this one through. Yeah. It's actually a little funny that it's happened to Jeremy.
Oh, it was a wild card.
He chose it. I did.
I don't think he knew what he was
And
choosing
take
at
him.
the time. I think that he thought he was choosing one thing, but certainly he wouldn't have chosen something that was at least partially blackface, right? Like,
I mean, we don't want to say that part out loud.
You can put black face paint on without it being blackface. It's part of my face for the audio audience.
I'm offended by the red.
Remember that Cardinals fan?
How about the yellow?
All right, everybody,
And the weird
relax.
ponytail that he has for some reason too. That birds
Video
definitely
team,
don't have
please
if he's
put up the
supposed to be a
comparison of the
bird.
guy who went viral, the Cardinals fan. Please help me.
Help me.
Okay, so
Nah.
There he is.
There is the punishment.
I also hate that one too.
Look,
Yeah.
Yeah, that one makes me feel a certain type of way.
that guy's hat is also red when he leaves the stadium.
As it should be.
Jeremy looks like he stormed the Capitol, if we're going to be honest, also.
Now, there-
so there's
finally,
multiple
finally,
groups and
finally.
races that are,
Finally,
I think,
someone
taking
said
offense by
You
this
can't
today.
be both offended on that end and then also say I look like I stormed the Capitol is a derisive thing. Pick a side.
Well put, Jeremy. You hadn't considered the consequences of your punishment, but I do salute you for.
No, I'm pretty sure I know the consequences.
What
I
is
have
the
my
punish-
face painted as a cardinal.
I'm not going to have you talk down to me on societal issues today, pal.
Greg Cody, is he coming in? Do we know?
I
if
got a
he's
text. He's not coming in. He'll hop on Zoom soon. What? And that's all he'll give us. He was not in the car.
He's
He
scheduled.
just skipped.
He's scheduled to work today. He is
71.
That's what his argument is. I'm 70. It's a good argument, honestly. But I think we need to finally have a conversation with your father about whether he's thinking about retirement. Because once you're telling people who are relying on you, I'm 71, I'm simply not coming in. When did he inform us of this? Just now? Just like it wasn't even the courtesy of doing it last night? He's tired at the end of a work week, so he's not coming in.
Last time I spoke to him was Wednesday, and he did mention to me, oh, you need me Friday, huh? I only get paid for 2 days a week, but we'll see. I'll see if I can make it work. And now here we are. Couldn't make it work.
He couldn't make it work. Yeah.
But does he not take into account that while we only pay him for 2 days a week, there are often times we don't get either of those 2 days? Like he's only doing it when it's more than 2 days because it's an average of 2 days a week that we're paying him for, but he's very often not here at least one of those days, sometimes two of them, like, for example, when it's just, hey, cruise, we're going on a cruise. It's not vacation time. It's not when anybody's going on vacation. It's just I wanted to go on a cruise. Why? Because I wanted to drink 15 beers a day on a cruise ship bar tab instead of in my garage.
Magic package.
15 is putting it light.
Also, unlimited vacation. I mean, we're starting to see what happens when you tell people that and then they start taking advantage of it.
Starting to see what happens when that is in
You guys
play.
get vacation?
I want to talk about one of the games last night, and not the one that everyone's going to be talking about, because I assume everyone's going to be very worried about the Eagles, and start talking about the personality change of the New York Giants, which is a little bit fun, and a nice little fumigation on everything that New York sports have been, that they've got a Giants team with a couple of personalities that you could get excited about. But the game I wanted to talk about yesterday, as the Dodgers continue to play what is a totally unfair baseball game. They have an overwhelming all-star team, and they've underachieved this year because it's the best team ever assembled. And I know we can sit here and argue about what is the actual in results best team. A Mariners team won 111 games, but in terms of star talent and roster construction, there has never been a baseball team as good as these Dodgers. And the game they played against the Phillies yesterday, and the series, the Phillies are a really good baseball team. Luzardo pitching with Snell pitch for pitch is something close to a miracle, because Snell's a good deal better than Luzardo. But that series was very well played. And the pitchers in that series are extraordinary, so that even an all-star team like the Dodgers has all sorts of trouble scoring runs. But before we get to the error at the end, because I really was hoping that was a series that would be won instead of lost, because it was really quality baseball. Schwarber and Harper and Castellanos, these are not chokers. Trey Turner, they're not chokers. The pitching is extraordinary in baseball. And what the Dodgers have, where they could go to Glasnow, who's an ace, and they could just throw him out of the bullpen because they've got just aces all over the place, made it so you have to play perfect baseball against that team to beat them. And this is the situation that they got into, where they're fighting over every little run, okay? Before the ending, this is what happened. And it's why it's impossible to play the Dodgers. Maybe baseball happens to the Dodgers, but this is why it's impossible to play them. Luzardo got knocked out because they got Freddie Freeman, and Freddie Freeman hit a double, and Freddie Freeman's their third best player. Third best hitter. I like Mookie Betts better. I like Ohtani better, but we can argue about it. Freeman's exceptional. In the inning where the Dodgers are down 1-0, and you got to do everything right against this team. They've got runners on second and third, and first base is now open. And the guy pitching for the Phillies, they're bringing the best reliever in baseball in the seventh inning. It's a high leverage situation, and they know the Dodger top of the order is coming up in a second. They've got first base open. What do you guys do? It's Duran. He throws 99-mile-an-hour sinkers. He's not a hittable person. But first base is open, and Ohtani's coming up. Ohtani is 1 for 17 in the series with 8 strikeouts because the Phillies pitching is really good too. It's not because Ohtani's a choker. It's because this happens in baseball. You can have 4 or 5 bad games. He's 1 for 17 with 8 strikeouts, and Duran is as good a closer as there is in the game. What do you do, guys? It's lefty against lefty on Ohtani. What do you do? He's 1 for 17. First base is open.
You walk him.
I wouldn't have, but I understand that they did because.
Well, then what happened?
Well, so they walk him, but the reason I wouldn't have walked him, I got lefty against lefty. I've got the best reliever in baseball, and Ohtani's struggling in the series. But the reason I wouldn't have walked him, there are 2 outs. The only reason I wouldn't walk him is because now you're leaving no margin for error on the next hitter, who is Mookie Betts. It's Mookie Betts.
He's been bad lately, though. I think it's the curse of Billy picks you in fantasy, but he was not good this season at all. And Luzardo, by the way, you said before, like, pitched a gem. Like, he has it in him. Like, he was a highly regarded prospect. And when they traded him, the Marlins traded for him from the A's, like, he struggled a little bit, but he lived up to it the last couple of years, and he had a great game last series also.
The reason the Phillies traded for him is because he has the potential in that arm. He's not Snell. He's never going to be Snell. He went pitch for pitch with Snell. He'll never be Blake Snell.
He's Snell like every other Snell season, where Snell seems to like just take off sometimes. Yeah, he's
Weird
very
player.
up and down.
What happened? What's the right answer?
We're getting there in a second because this isn't even how the game was decided. It's just how the Dodgers got the game into extra innings. You say Mookie Betts hasn't been that good. Okay, I'll grant that to you. But what Mookie Betts does is he's got extraordinary plate discipline. And what I've now done to my great closer is I have the bases loaded, and you can't make the mistake against Betts. So now it goes to a 3-2 count, and you can hear that place going crazy. And Betts has such extraordinary plate discipline that he takes a pitch that everyone else in the league would have swung at. You're not looking at a bases-loaded situation in Dodger Stadium wanting to be the hero and taking a pitch that's at your chest, when the reason that Chapman's good this season is because everyone in the league is swinging at that pitch now. Every single person, and Betts lays off it to tie the game in a game you cannot make a mistake in because one run is going to decide it.
Duran's first career bases loaded walk. And just to go back, it was Sanchez was the lefty that had been in, and it could have potentially been an at-bat with Ohtani. But Duran is a right-handed pitcher. So it was a righty against a lefty. Their idea was, we don't want to let Ohtani beat us with 2 runners on. In that scenario, don't let him get hot and approach Betts.
So now you definitely walk him. Yeah. What's the answer?
They walked him.
They did?
They walked
Was that the right move?
Well, then they walked Betts, and the run came in.
Oh, okay.
Mookie's hitting 385 this round. Small sample, though.
Forgive me, you got that right, Jeremy. It was righty-lefty as well, and I understand why you walk Ohtani there, because everybody in the world probably would have walked Ohtani there, but you're not allowing for 1 for 17 with 18 strikeouts, and this is the best pitcher he's going to face. Like, there's not someone better than the guy. He's struggling in this series, and this pitcher who's throwing 99-mile-an-hour sinkers, what you've just done to yourself is you've created the situation where Betts' plate discipline can beat you because you can't make a mistake. You've got, when the 3-2 pitch is coming, Betts knows that it's going to be something near or in around the strike zone. It's not going to be in the dirt. It's going to be around the strike zone. And he tempted him with the most tempting pitch, and Betts laid off it.
That's the best argument for pitching to Ohtani, is there's just so much more strikeout in his bat. And when you have a guy in Duran who is so capable of striking out hitters, you saw Ohtani later in the game strike out against Luzardo. If you approach that at bat the right way, you can get that strikeout. Now, righty against lefty, it is a different thing, but Betts is a guy who has not only that plate discipline, but not nearly as much swing and miss. And so the probability just goes up. Even if he just puts the ball in play and it's an error, you're putting yourself behind the 8 ball.
It might have been a good thing to pitch to Ohtani, because he's had this thing in the last couple of at-bats where he wants to crush the ball every time he gets a pitch, and he wants to play hero ball, where I'm like, I'm taking this ball out. And it happened in the Luzardo at-bat where he's just taking massive hacks. And he's like, first pitch, I'm trying to hit it out of the
All
park.
right, but my point on all of this, because I'm micro-analyzing something here that isn't even what people are going to look at as deciding that game or that series or ending the Philadelphia season. The reason that I'm doing it, though, is because there is, against that baseball team, an all-star team, an international all-star team. Those are not the best players in America. Those are the best players in the world. That is an international baseball team. And what got decided at the end was a dribbler from a home run hitter. And it wasn't the Dodgers winning the series. It was the Phillies losing the series because Orion Kerkering made a mistake with the bases loaded in extra innings. And I was feeling late in that game, you tell me if you guys ever feel this for a fan base. You felt it when it's your team. I felt bad for the Phillies the entire extra inning scenario, because you're on the road and now your fans are in a room where the water's rising, and any one of the Dodgers ends your season with a swing. You're watching the bottom of innings when you haven't scored in the top of innings, and they've got a 1-game lead in the series. So as the pressure rises on a team you have to play perfect baseball against because they're better than everyone. It's the best roster ever constructed. Baez, Cuban player, shipped in last year, like hasn't played much Major League Baseball. He comes up with the bases loaded, and he hits a dribbler. This is a home run hitter. He hits the ball the least you can hit it.
Kerkering made his pitch. Like, he made the pitch he wanted to make in that spot.
But this is a home run hitter in a lineup filled with home run hitters. As the Phillies are watching and their fans are watching, any guy can end our season with a swing. Like, when was the last time? I guess you guys felt this a little bit during Game 7 of the Stanley Cup playoffs against McGregor last year because McDavid, excuse me. Yeah. That was 2 years ago. When's the last time you guys felt like your season could end in a moment? Where you're watching something you deeply care about, and the bottom half of an inning from a team at home. Like, I really felt bad for Phillies fans watching that because they're playing this team, and any swing can end the season of great expectations after having several seasons ruined that had great expectations.
I guess it happened with the Panthers too. Eastern Conference semifinals against Toronto. When they went down 2-0 in Game 3.
That's why the fourth line got to finish the season because they played so well in that game.
That game went
Tampa.
to overtime. That was a little nervous Nelly.
Opening day 2017, Ian Happ.
The reason that doesn't qualify is only because there were more games after that. Your season would feel like it ended, but it hadn't actually ended. It
down
was
0-3. I mean, that's tough.
Down 0-3 is not. Your season's immediately over. I went from hoping this team was going to make it to the World Series to one swing, and I'm finished. It's just a pressure that as someone who considers himself weak in these circumstances, it's a pressure I would not want on me, because here's what happens late in the game. And I really do have to get credit to Kerkering for the way that he talked about this, because he is somebody who will have a name in Philadelphia now that will be associated with a moment got really tense for you. We had great hope and you simply choked. Like, this is identifiable in his own voice. Obvious choking from what happened. The pressure of a moment got to him, and he did something that nobody does. He says afterward that the pressure of the moment got to him. So the bases are loaded, and the Dodgers, you can hear in the sound on the call, the way the dribbler goes back to the mound, and all of a sudden, 60,000 people in Dodger Stadium are rising up, and you can hear the noise and the pressure. The play there is you pick up the ball and you throw it to first base. Real Muto, his catcher, is pointing to first base. Don't throw it to me. He's pointing to first base. And Kerkering just chokes on the moment and throws the ball home poorly, and the game and the season is over, and it's your fault. And what happens to him is he immediately bends over, sick to his stomach, and if he could have, he would have just thrown up right there on the field because of how bad he felt. Because it's as identifiable as a choking moment. We talk about choking moments all the time. You never see them this obviously where a guy simply panicked.
I feel like in baseball, though, when you bobble a ball and you just have this panic of, oh, shit, I need to go quicker than a normal routine play, like, I'm not going to do the thing I've played. Like, I can relate to that panic of just like, oh, shit, I made an error. I'm not thinking anymore, and you just throw it out of the way.
I talked for 7 minutes earlier this week in that series about a wheel play the Dodgers ran because they're not going to panic.
Oh, and it was beautiful.
They're not going to panic because their guys have been in this situation every postseason for 13 straight postseasons. So they get the benefit that Jeter got, where if I'm always playing here, it feels like just another game. The pressure doesn't get ratcheted up to a place that suffocates me. But can we hear Kerkering in his own words here? I'd like to just hear, you just never tell me the last time you guys, after watching someone choke, saw the athlete raise his hand and say, yep, I choked.
Off my foot. Just kind of, once that pressure got to me, I just thought it was a faster throw, the JT, a little quicker throw than trying to cross body at the Bryce. So, just a throw.
Yeah. Did you hear them telling you to go to first at all, or were you just in the moment that it wasn't even?
Just in the moment.
Yeah.
Can you see JT pointing in that moment, or is it just kind of looking up?
Just kind of looking up, just be ready to go.
I mean, a lot of guys at what do you do? Well, the first one's there. Just what do the guys say to you in that moment?
Just keep your head up. It's an honest mistake. Just it's baseball. It happens, and just keep your head up. You'll be good for a long time to come. It's not my fault. Just had opportunities to score. Just keep your head up.
Have you guys heard an athlete say before, once that pressure got to me? Just like that. Once the pressure got to me. I don't hear that very often. I don't hear that level of self-awareness very often. Usually the bravado of the moment makes it so that you mask that, you hide, you try to lie. You lie your way around that. I wasn't scared. I wasn't worried.
Something Tua is going to say in the next couple of weeks. I'm telling you right now, that guy is a real chatty Cathy now with all of his fears and that guy says better than me. I don't care if I throw 5 interceptions. No, the moment's too big for me. I don't remember what happened yesterday. It's coming. I'm telling you with this Tua. I don't think I've turned on him yet, but we're headed in that direction. $300 not well spent on that frame.
We've got Roy and Greg Cody are both here bombing in from home. I've been told that Greg Cody is irritated that we're calling him because he's 71 and he's very busy and he has a lot to do today. So I'll start with Roy. Roy, how did you wear the jersey to the lovely jersey that Rose gave you? Did you wear it to the Panther game yesterday?
No, I plan on doing that on Saturday.
So why did you not wear it yesterday when you were already wearing it?
No, because I'm wearing it today for the hockey show, and I just decided, you know what, I'm not going to wear it today. I'm just going to save that for Saturday.
Are you going to the press box?
Yes.
Ooh, don't they have like a no jersey policy?
Yeah.
It's not a National Hockey League team. I'm not really cheering. It's not like supporting Ottawa.
Blazer on top,
tomorrow.
maybe?
Okay.
Or underneath, possibly?
Wear a shirt on top. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll do that, Billy. Thanks.
Greg, what are your thoughts on this? Roy Bellamy, who may at one point in the Panther Arena have a dedicated place named after him, the Roy Bellamy Legendary Memorial Press Area. What is your ruling as a journalist on whether or not Roy is allowed to wear a jersey in the press box?
Well, I'm working behind the scenes to get Roy on the Media Hall of Fame that you see as soon as you leave the elevator and go to your seat. What kind of jersey is he wearing into the press box?
It is the hockey show. It's a hockey jersey, but it's not of a team. It's of his own show. And when you say you're working behind the scenes, is your only effort there to be behind the scenes and not actually doing anything? Because I don't believe that you're working behind the scenes. And you're not working in front of the scenes today. You're not working.
Well, I am. I'm working very hard. I just happen to not be on your show, so naturally everything is centric around you, so you assume I'm not working. I'm working very hard today, which is one of the reasons why I couldn't be in the studio with you. I think it's fine for him to wear a shirt promoting the hockey show. If I want to wear a Greg Cody Show podcast hat on my head, I'm going to do it, and nobody's going to say anything.
Roy, how are we feeling about Jeremy's overall look? Yeah. I don't know why. Well, I got a feeling why. I don't like it. I think I'm thrice offended.
There's something. Yeah, that's good luck, Jeremy.
What is he, a Cardinal?
Wait, Roy, wait.
Yes,
Don't
thank
forget,
you.
Wait, look at the hair, though, Roy.
Yeah, that's
What's wrong with the hair?
not good, man. That's not good.
It's not good. It's not of all people, he's supposed to be an ally.
Mm-hmm.
It feels appropriated. It does. Roy, thank you. I still don't understand your jersey wearing habits. I thought if you didn't wear it yesterday, you wouldn't wear it at all. Instead, you're saving it for Saturday.
It's a big game Saturday, Dan.
Okay. Yes. Last night was a nice one too. 2-0. The Panthers now are. They ruined the life of Rick Tocchet and his a great hockey name. They ruined the Philadelphia Flyers opening debut of the illustrious Rick Tocchet because Brad Marchand is now a local legend, beloved by all, including an arrogant and wrong Mike Ryan, who has to walk back all public comments.
Already did. We buried the hatchet.
I don't think he should forgive you, honestly.
That's all right. That's his prerogative. He's our rat.
I don't believe that the audience should forgive you either. Roy, thank you. I have some more questions for Greg. Greg, you stay there. Appreciate your time. And it was a lovely jersey that Rose made for you.
Thank you, Rose.
Greg, why aren't you in today? You were scheduled.
Scheduled. That's funny. Well, first of all, Dan, I know you don't like major in math or anything, but I'm paid now to be on the show twice a week. And you may recall I was on the show earlier this week for 2 days. And so the third day I consider to be sort of optional. I'm not paid for a third day. I love you and I love being on the show despite conversations like this one. But I was just very busy today. And so I said to my son, Christopher, the other day, I just can't be in Friday. I got to do this, and the other. And he was fine with it. And so here we are.
You said I'm 71. That's what you said. I'm 71.
Yeah, well, that's one of the reasons. I'm trying to cut back on work, not increase my work level. But today happens to be an extra busy day. I've got right around the corner from this, I've got a book-related Zoom interview with Ron McGill. There's a deadline approaching for that book, and so that's weighing on me. I've got a Greg Cody show, a major podcast interview coming up right after McGill. And so I'm just very busy today, Dan. You know, the world doesn't revolve around you and your show as much as you'd like it to.
Larry Little?
That's correct. We have Larry Little, the Miami legend, the Dolphins Hall of Famer, on our next podcast episode, and I'm really looking forward to that. I've known Larry a long time. I don't know him super well, but I know him well enough to really admire him.
It is funny to hear you say that the world revolves around me when you did some very basic math there that forgets some things. I pointed this out before you came on with us, which is, yes, you're paid to work twice a week, but what about all the weeks when you don't actually work and just go on a cruise and we don't get the 2 days?
Oh, you mean the weeks that I actually dare to have the vacation that I'm entitled to?
I'm just saying you don't work twice a week every week. You often don't work the 2 days every week, correct?
No, that's not true. I think if you do the research on that, you'll see that ever since I made my new deal to basically increase from 1 day a week to 2, I've been religious in my ardor to fulfill that and be in twice a week. Yeah. This just and normally I would do a third day if possible, but this is just a day that it didn't work out for me on this end. If I had a staff, if I had a chief of staff like you do to organize, tie up all my loose ends and do all this and that and the other, then there wouldn't be this problem of miscommunication.
I was arguing before you came on here that once you're saying I'm 71 and by Friday I'm tired of working, that's around the time that you should start thinking about what retirement looks like, no?
No, because I'm really enjoying my life right now. My jobs, plural, are a big part of that life, and I want to continue doing it as long as I'm healthy enough to, which hopefully will be well into the foreseeable future. But at the same time, you do have to cut back on certain things. I'm also going through, a bit of a health situation right now, and it's just difficult.
Jeez, Dan.
Where'd that come from? Wait a minute.
Where
did that come from?
I'm sorry, Greg. Thoughts and prayers.
Yes.
Well, no, it's nothing that serious. It's nothing I want to talk about right now, but
seems serious.
It's just, wow. These are things that weigh in.
A bit of a health situation is what you're hitting us with at the end. A bit of a health situation. Nothing serious, but thoughts and prayers.
No thoughts and prayers. No, I don't want. I
None
don't
of
want
them,
thoughts.
actually.
I don't want thoughts or prayers.
Well, you want thoughts, honestly.
work.
If we gave, how about views and prayers? Views, downloads,
yeah, I
and
want
prayers.
clicks.
I want
prayers.
Write a column about it.
I want podcast downloads and thoughts and prayers in that order.
I think David Cross is the comedian who says instead of thoughts and prayers, like incantations and chanting or something. So for Cody, should it be clicks and views?
I'm just thinking,
yes,
clicks and views.
Normally, you'll
get like in lieu of flowers, please donate to this cause. In lieu of flowers, please download
Click
Greg Cody's
and
podcast.
Yes, that's exactly right. Exactly. Please read my NFL Week 6 picks in lieu of thoughts and flowers.
Week WEEK A-K.
I saw what you did there.
I think you're not coming in because you had your worst week ever with picks and you've been derailed by it. Like you are weaker today and weaker this week than you normally are because you had your worst week ever picking games.
Yeah, I was 4-10 straight up. I rallied a little bit. I had a few dogs with the points, so I finished 7-7 against the spread. But I will tell you this: there were an NFL record-tying 6 games last week in which a team with a double-digit lead blew it and lost, including the Chiefs and the Dolphins and 4 others. I was on the wrong side of all 6 of those games. So my 4-10 could very easily have been 10-4. I don't make excuses for a bad week, but that was an extraordinary situation that I was on the wrong side of when 6 teams blew big leads. It doesn't happen. I mean, it was record tying.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate the time. Appreciate you taking this weekend to rest so that you can be strong and give us your 2 days a week next week. We will talk to you next week.
That's all I live for. Thank you, Dan.
The game last night, the Giants blew a double-digit lead and then won the game late because everyone is talking today in football about the fact that the Eagles have a legitimate problem. They're the worst second-half team in football offensively. Like it's empirical. It's not up for debate. They're 32nd in all the categories if they can't score in the second half. And on top of that, they've got that boring play everyone hates that they ran 4 straight times, and it was the last time they scored in that game. It injures their players. It injures other players. Nobody wants to watch it. There's 11 minutes of game action in an average NFL football game. It ain't 3 hours. It's 11 minutes. When you do the tush push 4 straight times, no one likes that except Philadelphia, right? There's no one watching football, no one watching sports who likes to see 4 straight rugby scrums, one of which the officials, again, can't officiate correctly because it should have been 4th and 6 or 4th and goal from the 6 instead of the 1 because they jumped too early again. Is there anyone outside of Philadelphia who doesn't want that eradicated and all turned to dust because it's dangerous, it's illegal, and worst of all, it's fucking boring? Like, it's unbelievably boring to have, you got 11 minutes of game action and they're giving you 4 plays where you're going to take half the quarter and this is what you're going to do? You're just going to fart your way up the field 1.5 yards at a time because you've got some sort of play that nobody likes?
I just don't like that we're talking about banning something that one team is excellent at. Yeah, it seems unfair, and I understand it's boring, and I understand the arguments for it, and I do think that ultimately you will get your way. But I like that there's this thing in the sport that is nearly unstoppable that people hate because it's going to set up a moment where their season is on the line, and someone is going to stop it, and it's going to be absolute scenes.
It's been stopped before. It doesn't actually work every time. It works at a 90+% clip, but it has been stopped.
Yeah, but I'm talking about a big moment.
Yeah. I'm asking you guys, do you believe that anyone wants to see that play run 4 straight times so you can watch what had been an exciting offensive football game? Surprisingly exciting because the total in that game was 40 because no one expected scoring because the Giants are good at defense and because Philadelphia is bad at offense. It's the last scoring the Eagles did in that game was to run 4 straight plays that left players strewn on the field. You'll agree with me that it's a dangerous play, correct?
The tush push?
More dangerous than even football.
I mean, it looks violent. I don't know I don't know if anyone's done a deep dive. Maybe Pablo can get on it.
People are getting hurt, Mike. Like it is a place that Eagles get hurt and other people get hurt
all the time.
Agreed.
I don't know if like this specific play has more. I'd like to see the numbers on that because that would help me. That would help change my mind. If you could prove to me that this play is more dangerous than other plays, I'd come around on it. And I understand that I'm kind of like a dissenting voice here. I understand why people don't like it. I kind of like it because people don't like it, and it's just something that can't be toppled yet.
Visually, it looks like people are getting hurt because of the way that things are lined up, right? Like you have the guards super in and then like submarining underneath the defensive lineman, which obviously arms and legs could get caught, in different things. It just feels like the Eagles run it and nobody really gets hurt on their team.
Can I make a prediction? I think in the next few weeks, we're going to see a play action.
No, they did it already 2 weeks ago.
Damn it.
2 weeks ago, they ran it easily into the end zone by just handing it to Saquon Barkley.
That was a good idea by me, though.
Yeah, it was.
Ahead of my time.
I'd
Behind
throw-
my time.
I'd enjoy seeing them throw to that Frankenstein Goddard out of that.
He had a good game.
You guys do understand when I say whenever a league, I get your point, Mike. Why stop a play that only one team is good at? But you do understand that whenever the sport suffers from an entertainment problem aesthetically, what they do is they change the rules. Like that's throughout sports. I could have made the argument that when Michael Jordan was playing against the Pistons and they were just dragging everything into the mud, and later after that, Pat Riley was ruining things by making a bunch of Knicks games 81 to 80 games. Basketball changed all its rules.
According to the league's internal data, there was a 0% injury rate on the tush push last season.
Is that right?
Yeah,
0%, according to the NFL, which I mean, come on.
To help contextualize, oftentimes there is a clock management aspect to this, and we cannot ignore the possibility of players faking injuries on this to stop the clock. This play is available to everyone in the league. I'm with you, but they're excellent at it. Now, what I would like is to see the rules actually enforced a little bit better on this, because it seems as though, in part, they're better because they're getting away with stuff. I don't like that. I like a straight-up play. But Buffalo was the second best in the league. They did this a lot. And in a playoff game against the Chiefs, they famously got stopped, and it was a big-time moment. So I'd like to see this run its course and someone stop it before we talk about, like, let's get it away because it looks boring. I don't like that either, changing the rules just because one team is really good at something.
So Buffalo's not good at it because they're good at it. Buffalo's good at it because their quarterback is so big and strong that he can do some of the things that Jalen Hurts can do with his lower body, because they say that Jalen Hurts squats, what do they say? He squats 600 pounds or something absurd,
Probably more than
doesn't
that.
it?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, they're good at it because they're good at it because they're the body types and the superstars that they have on their team. The same way that Philly's good at it because they have a really good offensive line, and Jalen Hurts seems to be really good at this play.
From an aesthetic and waste of time perspective, it's almost like having to throw pitches on the intentional walk. Now you just put the guy on, right? So from an aesthetic perspective, it's, hey, if you have a quarterback whose athleticism and size can allow him to QB sneak for a yard, that feels different than what this is, where you're wasting time and you're just doing this thing that's boring for everyone
Falling
to watch.
forward.
No,
It's such a loser. I can't believe. I'm shocked we're having this conversation on.
I am not a
day,
loser, Mike.
No. A day after they get smoked, because I understand if they win the Super Bowl again and no one can stop it, and it's like, there's a path to beat this team. They look flawed right now.
This is why I'm bringing it up, though, because what they did, the last time they had success last night, is when they did that 4 straight times and made everyone in America hate them for reasons that didn't have to do with winning. It had to do simply with, that's no fun to watch. I've got 11 minutes of game action, and I'm watching that for half a quarter. 4 straight plays where they're going from the 4-yard line to the goal line because it's just watching a farm machine churn up a harvest for no good reason. They never scored again after that. They did nothing in the second half after that.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Before we get to our next guest, I just want to ask the group by way of introduction, because I think the baseball broadcaster on the radio used to occupy this spot, which is most beloved broadcaster anywhere in sports. Can you guys, off the top of your head, Joe Buck is viewed as controversial for whatever the reasons. People have their problem with every Joe Buck broadcast. Who is the most beloved broadcaster going these days?
Kevin Harlan.
Yeah, my favorite for sure.
It's a good nominee. Not who I would have gone with, but coincidentally enough, he's right here. And
I wouldn't have either.
And he does happen to be beloved. I've got a number of things to talk about, including his upcoming schedule now that he's going to be doing Amazon Prime basketball games. I'm looking forward to what all of that looks and sounds like. But welcome, Kevin. It's good to see you again. Who would you nominate, though, if I made you think about it for a second and said, America's most beloved sports broadcaster at the moment, comes with no controversy, isn't polarizing, is simply enjoyed by people throughout the land? Who would you nominate?
Well, how far back can I go? I won't go back too far.
No, you got to do it from someone now. We used to have them all the time. I think it's harder to do in today's America.
Go back to gladiator times if you want.
Good. And thank you, by the way, whoever mentioned me. I would say Mike Breen. I'm not sure if there's the established baseball voice. Joe Davis does an incredible job at Fox, and hockey, I think, and May or Sean McDonough. Now, these are two of my friends, so I'm a little biased, but Sean is about as good in any sport that is given to him, baseball, hockey, and certainly football. And Mike Breen has been the longtime voice that we know of the NBA, took over from Marv, has carried it even to the next level. So I'd say it's a tie between Mike Breen and Sean McDonough.
Bang!
That wasn't your best.
That was a bad one, actually.
I saw him mutter. The pressure of the moment got to Kirkering over here. He wanted to do the bang for Harlan.
You can Gannon me.
And it wasn't one of your best, but at least you didn't say you wanted to go black to the gladiator.
There was no pressure, too. I just messed up so badly. It was like a layup.
Kevin, what do you think of Jeremy?
No, what do you mean? What are you doing?
I'm a Cardinals fan. There's a viral Cardinals fan. Let's please give some context.
Kevin, I really enjoyed your call of Kevin.
What car do you drive, Kevin?
I love your car.
You know, there was a future where I wanted to join this man on NBA broadcasts, and you guys are ruining that.
Well, that's done.
It's done. You did that to yourself. You canceled you.
Your Trevor Lawrence call, how much did you enjoy doing that, the frenetic panic of the moment?
Well, I love those moments, and you hope that you've got the right words at the right time and sequence the right way, cadence and everything when something like that happens. Luckily, he's not a quick twitch guy, and so he fell again. He kind of lumbered his way, and so it was slow enough to call, and that made it kind of fun. And of course, the moment and the heightened point of the game that it was, and what it meant, and they got a lot invested in that kid, so they needed a signature win, and that probably was the one win they can use to build on what Liam Cohen is doing down there. But it was a lot of fun. There was a lot to that game. The day before, I was in Seattle doing the Buccaneers and the Seahawks, and that was a circus. So back-to-back nights, I never take for granted the NFL seat that I sit in every Sunday and Monday. But to have games like that back-to-back was really an honor. It was a treat, and I enjoyed both so much.
In my experience, the people who are among the best at what they do, they tend to be pretty unforgiving of their mistakes. I don't know how you are about this, but do you ever leave the stadium? I nailed that. I crushed it. That's as well as I could have done that.
No, never. I go back and listen and watch and grade each radio and TV. And I get more frustrated the more I watch my work. I'm the least impressed with my work of anybody. But what I do like is the challenge of getting better. And even at my age and stage in my career, You know, when I was younger, everything was so new and you sometimes didn't know what road to take and how to fix it. Now I think I've been around, you know, a long time that I can figure out, okay, I know how I messed up on that. I need to improve this, polish off this area over here. But I don't know that I've ever walked away and said, yeah, I don't. I usually come back incredibly frustrated the week after the game as I've watched daily what I've done or listened to what I've done on radio, and I'm pretty frustrated. So at the top of my boards, like I've got the Packers and Bengals this week, my scoring sheet, I'll put my points of emphasis on trying to improve on what I messed on the week before.
That doesn't sound very joyful. Like I
know it's not. It's not. You know, like I'm sure that when you were writing columns, it took, you know, a lot of look and maybe stepping away and getting back and jotting notes or waking up and thinking of an idea to insert in there. And that's kind of how it is with the broadcast. I think that because it happens, then you've got some time to reflect on it. It becomes more an exercise of evolving, improving, meeting the challenge. How can it be better? And I try to listen in different ways. I listen as I'm marking off on a sheet that I've got where I try to keep track of what I say or don't say, and then just listen as a fan might listen neutrally. And it becomes, you know, the more I listen, the more frustrated I get. So sometimes I got to step away and try to figure out how I'm going to get better. But if you love something, I think you're constantly trying to improve and evolve and get better. And I know in this business, which is incredibly competitive, that if you don't, you'll find there are a slew of young, incredibly talented broadcasters right there chasing you. So you want to be ahead of the posse a little bit, I think, the older you get and trying to stay current and on top of your game.
Who's the young one you hate the
It's
most?
fascinating to hear him say that. Yeah.
Noah Eagle, right?
Who's chasing you the best? Who do you look at as a young person and be like, that mother?
You know what? And this is the God's honest truth. I really don't listen to many other broadcasters. If I happen to walk in a room and the family's watching a game, I'll listen. And but I really don't. If I find myself stuck, I may go to a couple guys that I really respect. Joe Buck, Sean, Mike, you know, guys that I really, really admire, just the way they do work. It used to be Emmerich when he was doing hockey. Marv, I think at one time, when he first joined TNT, you know, after getting over oh my gosh, look who's on this roster. And before that, it was Lundqvist and Dick Stockton, two people that I revere tremendously. But I guess I pretty much would gravitate to the older voices and just how they might call, not a situation or not, you know, a flamboyant call, but just the body of the broadcast and the feel it gives. I mean, I don't want to get too deep in the weeds here, but with any profession, there comes a science and maybe trying to, you know, challenge yourself. And I like that. I told my wife the other day, I say, you know, and now beginning this new Amazon venture, which I'm so excited about and grateful that they'd want to bring me on their great roster of talent. But I kind of feel like my job is to stay relevant and current and as sharp as I owe it to my employers. And I after putting in so many years in this, I owe it to myself too. So I don't slack off. I probably work as hard now as I ever have, and hopefully that will be the scenario for as long as I'm employed.
Do you have a call you wish you made? Like you saw something, you're like, man, what a moment. Like I wish I would have had that moment to call.
A game that I was doing or a game that I was watching and wish I were doing?
Do both of them, actually. Answer both
well,
of those
like you know, the Marshawn Lynch run in the playoff game against the Saints, like as a broadcaster, and it was slow enough that you could keep pace with the run and the one broken tackle after another broken tackle, like 6 or 7 on the way.
11 broken
right?
tackles.
And I think he breaks a tackle at the 30. Oh, he stiff arms his way to the 25, angling to the side, breaks another tackle at the, you know, like you could go on and just, and you could build up the call and have that moment. There are not many like that, quite frankly. And Dan, you mentioned Trevor falling the other night. That was kind of close to it. It was slow enough that you could really have it make sense to the listener. I think I went back and listened. I said, was I slow enough? Did I describe enough? Did I try to measure the steps he was taking until he crossed the goal line for the winning score? So those are the kind of plays that you kind of wish you'd get a chance to have. Buzzer beaters are great. Clearly, you can set them up, and the shot speaks for itself. But all of it is a challenge, and I'm just grateful. I'm grateful that I have found a profession that gives me so much impetus to continually improve, regardless of what stage I'm at in my career.
When you said a second ago, I check in on these broadcasters when I'm stuck, what does that mean?
Just, I think sometimes, whether it's creatively or with me, it's probably more cadence and pace, and just how they may call a big, like if I didn't like a touchdown call or whatever, or a last second made shot, I say, you know what, it didn't really. So like I'll pay particular attention to what Joe or Sean or Mike, these are all my contemporaries, these are all friends, but like how they may handle it. I think we're all kind of learning from each other, perhaps, maybe, I don't know, but I do from them, because I think they're all so gifted and talented and have such a feel for the moment. I love the way they broadcast and just how they may handle a moment. And if I say, you know what, I don't feel like my touchdown call early in a game, middle of the game, late in the game, whatever it might be, it has the right tone to it or feel, whatever. And so then I'll say, next time listen to Joe or Mike or Sean, that moment may come up in their broadcast and how they'll handle it. I don't copy. I don't tell kids to copy unless they're really young and trying to develop their voice, as I did when I was like 10, 11, 12 years old. But those guys always seem to have a pretty good answer. And I just respect him so much. And sometimes I might even dig in the tape in Summerall and Stockton, Emmerich, how like what their tone sounded like. You can easily find that stuff and on YouTube and other places. And it's just a good reminder of it kind of, I think we all need a mentor, and sometimes distantly, remotely, their calls, their voices can serve as a reminder.
Kevin, are there athletes in hoops or football that you kind of get really excited that they're on your calendar because they allow you to get in your bag more than other athletes? Like I imagine, like Baker Mayfield's on the schedule this week. I'm jacked up because I know I can play my best game.
He loves the way you simply say Baker Mayfield.
I mean, it's no Joe Tess, but anybody saying Baker Mayfield always like tickles me a little bit. That guy's awesome.
First, it's a great name, right? I mean, it's kind of a catchy. It's a great name, but I would say that in the NBA, it was Michael, then Kobe, then LeBron, and I had the real honor of calling every season of Bryant, and I've done every game of every year of LeBron, and we're scheduled to have him on opening night on Prime. He's going to take the first month off, so we've already hit the load management there, and he's injured clearly, but that's a shame. Anyway, the point is that I mean, you get like going into last week, Seattle and Tampa. Two quarterbacks with incredibly compelling stories. I don't need to get into those, them, and the way their teams had been playing, you knew that it was going to be, it had the chance to really be electric. And clearly in the second half, it was. There were 7 consecutive touchdowns scored. It came down to the final part of the game, and then in Tampa the next night, or in Jacksonville the next night, you knew the Chiefs were kind of building a little bit, and it looked pretty good the week before against Baltimore. Jacksonville was 3-1, first place team. So, now this week we've got Green Bay and Cincinnati. So I've got 40-year-old Joe Flacco, who's pretty doggone smart with an incredible arm, coming back to play the Packers for the second time in 3 weeks with a new team and starting the week that he was acquired. So that kind of is a nice story. And you kind of get used to those kinds of things emerging during the week of preparation.
You're a Packer fan, right? You're biased. You're a Jayhawk fan and a Packer fan, correct?
Well, I went to Kansas, University of Kansas, and then grew up as a ball boy for the Packers. And when I was a ball boy, when I was 10, 11, 12 years old, I used to sneak up into the press box at Lambeau Field and recreate imaginary games during the lunch hour to an empty stadium and an empty field. And so every time I get in that press box, I think of how lucky, like if you'd have told me at that age that my career would have had this kind of, grouping of games and employers and time in the business, I would have said, "Oh, you got to be kidding me." So that is a special place for me for sure. We're actually about 100 miles north of Green Bay, and where we spend some time every year, and that's where we are right now. So I'll drive to the game on Sunday and drive back afterwards.
Well, what you just described in terms of the meticulous that it requires to be as good as you are sounds like it doesn't have a whole lot of fun in it, because it has to have so much preparation and then pressure, and then the fun is the doing of it. Have you had a moment any time where you sit in the press box with such gratitude that it simply moves you to tears? That where you've arrived, because what you just described, you got to get out of here with that. You were a ball boy who was doing games in an empty stadium, and now you go back and you get to do that game at the highest of levels. Like you can't have too many moments like that.
No, it's singular for sure, and one I never take lightly every time I go in there to do a game. My dad was the president and CEO of the Packers for 21 years, and he was the one who initiated the rebuild of Lambeau and to what it is kind of today. And then it was carried on with the people that have followed him and done such a magnificent job. But there's a sense of pride when I walk in that stadium and see what he had accomplished in his 2 decades running the organization. The only other time, I guess, Dan, I feel that is the Super Bowl when we broadcast the Super Bowl. It's thinking of the people that have been in that seat: Jack Buck, Lindsey Nelson, Don Criqui, Jim Simpson, Marv. To sit in that seat and wear that headset and call that game is about as special a moment as you can have. I never take that lightly. I'm full of appreciation and gratitude when I sit there and get a chance to do that big game. So those are the moments that you say, this is how lucky I'm not. This is why I'm in the business. That sounds like it's almost owed you. It's more, how lucky am I to be in the business, in that seat, and calling a game like this and follow in the footsteps of those giants that have been in this position before me.
Prime Video's NBA coverage begins October 24th with a Friday night doubleheader. I believe this is Kevin Harlan's most famous call, the way that he will be remembered. All the work he does every week, he works very hard, but nothing will ever be larger than this, not the Packers, not the Super Bowl.
And now guarding Steph Curry comes up with the steal.
Pickpockets him, Leonard! If you've got the hammer, you've got to use it.
I don't think that's his best. I think his best is the other one, the longer call. That's a decent one, but this is the best one.
Oh, there's a black cat has taken the field. A black cat is running from the 20 to the near side, the 10. From the 39 in Dallas, here's a short throw down the middle, caught by Ingram. Caught at the 35, went to the 30. Now the cat running the other way, and so is Ingram at the 30 to the 25 to the 24-yard line. It's a catch run of 15. Now the cat is stopped at the 50.
So is it bad luck for the Giants? Is it bad luck for the Cowboys?
I don't know, but they've stopped playing. The players with hands on hips are watching the cat run and zigzag all over the field. He's
Black
at the
Cat
8.
doesn't know that it was last Thursday that was Halloween. Thursday night
right,
football,
yeah.
not Monday night football.
He's a little bit late. Now he's at the 5. He's walking to the 3. He's at the 2. And the cat is in the CDW red zone. CDW, people who get it now, a policeman, a state trooper has come on the field, and the cat runs into the end zone. That is a touchdown. And the cat is elusive, kind of like Barkley and Elliott, but he didn't know where to go. Look at, they're trying to corner him, and they got him in the end zone. There are state troopers all around this cat, which now climbs up into the stands, and the fans are running for their life. Now it goes back on the field again, and it's running in the back of the end zone, and it runs up the tunnel.
Do you have a personal favorite?
I haven't heard. I haven't heard the entirety of that. I would say nothing to do with drunks or wild animals on the field. No, that probably would not be my first choice. I'd like to say that I'm working toward a call in a game, in a moment that I'll remember. There've been lucky for me that I've had a lot of great performances I've been able to call. But I always like to think my best call is ahead of me, but I don't know that it will involve a drunk or an animal. Maybe it will. Like if Dan Le Batard ran out there, that would be, I think, worthy of
a drunk animal.
Slowly.
Yes.
I'm not saying drunk or an animal. I'm just saying if he just ran out there.
He's
for whatever.
lumbering.
Lumbering, yes.
You thought Trevor Lawrence was slow.
Yeah. The strides of Le Batard.
Look at him. Yes, he's dressing it up a little bit. So your next call is your favorite call. Did you just do that to me, Harlan? You've got a career. How long have you been doing this that you're still in a place where your next call is going to be your best call? Like I began calling games in my room when I was like 11 years old. And I told you the Lambeau Field story, and was actually our high school in Green Bay had a radio station, 10 watts, reached 10 miles. And I did games when I was 14. And our high school games, and then that led to some other work in the Green Bay area with commercial stations, and then kind of heaped on. So 50 years, 51 years or whatever. I don't know what else I could do. Actually, my wife said, what else could you do? I said, there's nothing. I don't know that I could do anything else. So I'm lucky I found something that at least I enjoy. It feels to you the same? After 50 years, it feels to you it still has the same stuff in it that challenges you, and because you're always looking for improvement, you can't be as hungry as you were, right? That's not possible.
Well, I'm almost now to the point where I really want to just make sure that I am improving, as I mentioned, maintaining and not messing up in any way, because when you do, then that draws attention, and I just soon not have that angle hit me. So it's harder to leave to do a game. Not that I feel more pressure, but the business is changing, and the stakes with these NFL games are so immense. Like the numbers that are watching these games and the knowledge of the fans that are watching them have never been greater. The fan has never been smarter, and the viewership has never been higher, and the league has never been held in such a position, I think, and continues to grow, and is the most popular sport, and doing 2 of those games every weekend. It's the responsibility that probably drives me a little bit, and making sure that I'm really buttoned down, because when you say something that's not even, that may be just a little bit off, man, fans know. And
I can't believe that fear is still there for you. I can't believe that.
Yeah. Fear is probably not the right word. It's more responsibility. Just because there's not a broadcaster in the business that would not give everything to be an NFL network broadcaster. And same with the NBA. You could line them up, and knowing that and what's at stake every single game just makes you, you're not nervous. There's no fear, but you need to be alert and present, and just you got to be on your game. I mean, probably not too different than how you all feel going up against the competition of the business on your side of it, on your.
Did you not just hear how all of us were talking during that segment? We don't quite have that standard around here. Prime Video's
Good call, Black.
NBA coverage begins October 24th with a Friday night doubleheader. What is the worst attention you've gotten? You articulated it well when you said you're respecting the responsibility. It's not fear. You just always respect the responsibility, because any one sentence on live can get you buried. So the worst attention you've gotten is what? 51 years. That's a long ass time to not have one off the top of your head.
Oh, I cannot think of one right now, but I'm sure there are. And and it doesn't even have to be anything monumental. It can be just a wrong identification, wrong name that you've gotten, just not cognizant of the situation in the game. Things like that show that, all right, he does have some mental acuity. There is a responsibility to just make sure that you are really present. You can't, it's 3 hours of not letting your focus dip at all. Incredibly hard to do, to keep focus for 3+ hours and not doing NFL, and 2+ doing college or certainly the NBA, and to make sure that you are prepared mentally and everything else. That's kind of the challenge. You cannot lose your focus, because when you lose your focus, that's when the mistakes happen, for sure.
We don't make any of those around here. Our internet is always perfect, and we always speak cleanly. Kevin, thank you for being on with us. Always good talking to you.
Dan, thank you so much, and thanks to your great crew. I sure appreciate the time.
Thank you, sir. He's as good as there is in the business, and you can hear why, because he never relaxes on the laurels of knowing he's as good as there is in the business. I don't think of people like that as having those kinds of, we're not going to call them fears. It's obviously standards, but having standards so high, I would think that he would have the confidence by now that he would just come into the game and just know that he's good at it. I don't know when that happens for somebody, if it doesn't happen after 51 years.
Yeah, I always read into that, saying that's why he's so great, because he's always aspiring to a standard that he is yet to achieve, because he keeps raising the standard.
I just think, though, because like for Joe Buck, I'd be curious to talk to Joe Buck about some of that stuff, because he's been good at it since he was in his early 20s, and it was handed down in his family. I don't imagine that all standards are like that. I don't imagine that you get a situation where everybody views themselves as a grinder. I'm not saying that he has imposter syndrome, but I've seen a lot of great people who are actually great at what they do that are fueled by imposter syndrome. And it's always interesting to me to see someone arrive at success and then have to feel like they have to work just as hard as they did 50 years earlier when they were dreaming about that. I didn't know he was a ball boy, though. Like, that's got to be – I didn't know that Packer fandom was something that was in his blood.
Seems like a major conflict, if we're going to be honest.
I wish you had said that, but it feels like you
you accused him. I tried to defend him.
Even there, Billy muttered it. I barely even heard what he said.
What did I say?
Well, you said go black to Gladiator.
Yeah, go black. Yeah, that sounded
Could have been worse. I could have been dressed like Jeremy.
Yeah, that was super racist.
Triple racist.
Hampton Farms Fan of the Week. There is no bias around here when we announce this week's winner of Hampton Farms Fan of the Week.
He could win this every week. The winner is, once again, Michael Irvin. This week's Nuttiest Fan. Get nutty with Hampton Farms, the official peanut of bowl season. Keep an eye out for Lucy at Auburn this week. If you think you are your team's Nuttiest Fan, Michael Irvin slapping a belt on the wall, doing push-ups. He could win every week.
Billy, you have not gone after Tony this week as much as I thought you were going to for his contentions.
Why?
His double-pronged contentions that he's being targeted by the cartel on TikTok and he stopped a home invasion. I thought
what?
Dan, I'm kind of worried, actually.
Hold on. Just a piece of it. Think before you speak.
I am thinking before I speak.
Okay.
That's the secondary story. But the first one, I am being targeted by the cartels on TikTok. So I've gotten to this weird spot on TikTok where I'm getting – listen to me.
I love how he's like, I don't know how my algorithm got this way.
I don't know. So what it is
like Jason Whitlock over here.
What cartels?
Mexican ones. Sinaloa.
Drug cartels?
Are there other kind of cartels that you know of?
Kane's cartel.
Clone cartel.
Clone. I'm not getting targeted by any of those.
Big one tonight.
So I'm on TikTok, doing my thing, watching stuff, posting stuff, trying to get more into that.
Nice
follow me on
doom
10 Day
scroll.
Tony. Yeah, follow me at 10 Day Tony.
How are you targeted by Mexican drug cartels?
So listen, I've been listening to certain podcasts and they've been saying, hey, look, this is how. Okay, are you guys going to let me talk or no?
Tony,
Crazy,
that's totally
Dan.
fair. I'm writing it down,
Thank you,
Tony,
Dan.
because I want to tell them after the meeting, guys, you got to let Tony get his story off the fucking ground.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you. I appreciate that. Listen, so I may have to go work for the cartels for a little bit. They're saying that the cartels aren't doing like word of mouth, like, hey, why don't you come work for us now? What they're doing is they're actually sending people videos on TikTok and Instagram being like, hey, why don't you sign up to be part of the cartel? And you can WhatsApp them and they'll send you like, hey, be at this location at this time and you can work for the cartel. So what they do is they'll take videos of the entire process throughout from getting the coca leaves to creating the product to showing you the product to sending the product out, distributing. Thank you. And they're like, you can make 25 to 50K a week if you hit this number.
Huh.
And I'm like, huh.
And you think this is legit?
No, that's how they're targeting people. This
You
is
happy
not
we
me
let him
saying
go?
it. This is not me saying it. This is people that are in like the information industry, in like security industry, saying like, hey, this is how they're targeting
This is
people.
how they're doing it?
Yeah. So I was targeted definitely more than once.
This is all algorithm stuff, though, right?
Well,
This
what am I
isn't-
searching though? Like,
I don't
how
know.
to be a cartel member?
I don't know what you're searching that would invite. I assume at this point that the computers are smarter than we are in some places, and so they can guess your interest based on some of your other interests. I think that's why Billy, in his awkward way of helping you while not helping you, is trying to say, be careful what you say here, because you
I'm not
may-
disparaging the cartels whatsoever. I'm
No,
saying they
that's
have
not the
actually a
part
good.
he's asking you.
I
about.
tried to not let him go down this path, but you guys wanted this, so here you go. You're
There
gonna
you
get a
go.
knock on your door, dude. Like you have said way
from
too
whom?
much.
But from whom? Hold on.
I'm
from
not
whom?
trying to knock the cartels. They actually have a good. What were you gonna say?
What podcast do you think led you to being targeted by this?
No, it's not a podcast that led me to be targeted by the cartels. It's how I know the cartels are targeting people on social media.
What is Joe Rogan?
Sean Ryan show, Joe Rogan. Yeah, they have guys on that work in military, situations, and they're overseas doing certain things. And there was one guy that Rogan had on was talking about how Mexican cartels are going to find people in the United States and bringing them over to work for them as drug mules, as people that are in the production chain. And one of the things that he said was TikTok. That's exactly how they do it. So now I'm finding myself getting targeted by the cartel to be like, hey, you want 25 to 50K a week? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, well, why don't you come over here? And I'm like,
As a
okay.
good patriot that you are, have
Thank
you
you.
ever considered infiltrating the drug cartels on behalf of the United States of America?
What's the win for me there? Like, what do I?
You're saving hundreds of thousands of lives from all the drugs that are coming across the border. You go in, you be a drug mule for them, and then you eventually have to turn on them to save
So
others.
a double agent.
Yeah. Have you ever considered that?
I mean, am I
Because
making...
if they're targeting you, obviously they think you're capable of doing these things.
Correct.
But if you're listening to these podcasts, you probably also think you're capable of doing other things to help America on behalf
Gosh, I do
of...
love helping America.
Yeah.
So am I getting paid by the U.S. government, or am I getting?
You might
paid
be getting
by...
paid by both, honestly.
Now we're talking. Okay, now we're talking 25K a week from the cartels, but then I'll go to the U.S. government. Hey, if you match me, okay. And we
You
got
should
back
strong arm
and
the
forth.
government.
They can't even get you health
Yeah,
care.
and tell them, listen, this is what the drug cartel is
There's enough
offering
people
to
strong
pay
arming
me.
this government. Trust me.
And then you say, if you guys don't pay me more money, I will continue to flood drugs into your country. That's
Okay.
I like that
I like
strategy.
that. But you know
That's
what?
a good
Can
strategy.
you be my
for you.
agent using you?
No,
and
I'm
your
going to
stuff
sit this one out, I
for
think.
against the government, though, not against the cartels. I'll work solo on the cartels.
I believe that Billy's initial reaction to you, I thought the shock in his voice was from the home invasion, not the cartels. I wasn't
Oh, the home
sure,
invasion,
but
yeah.
I thought Billy does
I
a good
forgot
job.
about that after the story. What happened? Someone broke into your house?
Well,
Drug cartels or the government?
Did we just put up a photo of Tim Ruddy? Who was that? Or was that? Oh, that's Dan. Oh, that's AI football player Dan. Yeah, that's fun.
That's what we're talking about.
68, Dan. Oh, you got a fumblerooski there? What was that?
Tim Ruddy is who you made me. It was from the Jeff Saturday School of AI, and it's a joke that's 9 minutes late based on Kevin Harlan's call of me lumbering on the field.
The good news is AI isn't here to take over everything. It took him 9 minutes to create that
Not
beautiful
quite
image.
Fast. It's not quite fast enough for the joke to land when it's supposed to.
What about a joke from 20 minutes ago? Here's Conor McGregor playing hockey.
That one's good.
That guy was terrifying every time he took a trip down the ice.
So someone broke into your house?
What happened with the home invasion?
Dan, so you can imagine it was the Friday
Sounds
night.
like you're imagining a lot of things.
No, I'm not imagining anything. Trust me, this was not imagination. So it's the Friday night after my brother's wedding. Get home late. Obviously, we had a great time. I go to sleep. What? What? Okay, thank you. So we get to go to sleep. All of a sudden, at around 5 o'clock in the morning, I hear something downstairs. And I'm like, what the hell was that? All of a sudden, my alarm starts beeping.
Whoa.
Yeah, and that's a scary moment. Obviously, Simply Safe alerts me anytime that something happens. And what the sound was somebody had opened a door.
No.
Beep, beep, beep. And dude, when I tell you, I have to actually update the lawsuit because I hurt my hip again, my quad, that day, getting out of bed. So I got out of bed like Usain Bolt out of the block.
Because you have a child.
I have a child, and she's sleeping right next to
That's
me. And my
bravery.
wife's
Oh, she's in the room.
Bravery.
Okay.
I was telling you.
I was thinking she's in a
Courage.
different room. That would be scary.
So you're saying you get out of bed the way that some football players get off their back
Yes.
by jumping to their
Yes.
feet,
Like
without
Saquon Barkley did,
ever,
remember?
without
Like Shawn Michaels,
Thank you.
Always wanted to do that.
the Heartbreak Kid.
Thank you. So I kick the diaper caddy out of the way, ended up denting it. I'll send the picture when I get home.
Wow,
Ended up denting the metal diaper
split-second
caddy.
decision.
I got
Split
it.
set-
Man, you are. A
I
family
ran down
man.
the stairs. Dan, no weapon, no bat, no nothing. Bare hands and bad intentions.
Those are
and
red-
I start running down the hall. Boom, boom,
Are
boom,
you like,
boom.
hey, who's here? Hey.
No, I'm silent. But
Sound real tough?
what you hear is Jenny said it sounded like a grizzly bear was running down the stairs because I made every size 13. Boom, boom, boom. And I finally get down. I'm looking. I get to the front door. Front door's closed. Okay, nobody's there. I get to the sliding glass door by the TV. Nobody's there. Okay, where's my office? No windows. Okay. I'm looking around. I'm like, they may have gone upstairs when I went downstairs. So I ran back upstairs. I get to my daughter's room where you can see over where the street is. I open up the blinds to see if somebody's running, if there's a car. Nothing. I go back up to the room and I'm like, what's going on here? I don't know what's going on. Every door is closed. Why did it sound like that? Jenny's like, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know. I have to find my phone. So I look at the phone. Simply Safe sends you alerts on your app, and it's like critical, open, garage. By the way, the alarm is blaring in the house. Talk about panic. Talk about trying to figure out where to throw the ball. So I finally get up. Simply Safe, garage door open. I'm like, I didn't hear the garage door open. What's going on? And then it hit me.
What?
The sensor fell off the door.
No.
The adhesive of the sensor fell off the door, and the sensor was what I heard, rolling on the floor.
Shitty adhesive.
Yeah, the
bouncing
adhesive-
instead of knocking.
bouncing instead of knocking. So all of a sudden, I look and I'm like, thankfully.
Well, you
I was
did-
ready to stop the home
you
invasion
did
there,
it
Dan.
correctly. I don't know how to do that. Valerie pointed out to me that I do it wrong because she said one night I heard a noise and I got up and wandered to the bathroom. Like I don't totally run.
Is it your tummy?
I don't.
Little rumbling.
She heard a noise. I don't handle this correctly. I have never in my life run thinking that there is someone.
Dan, I went down like a
actually
man
in my-
possessed. I was going to go kick somebody's ass.
Like the
And
Blade
you don't
Runner.
go places with bare hands and bad intentions.
Thank you.
I'm prepared to say that this week's episode of Mystery Crate is the best podcast ever recorded in the history of content.
Why?
You're prepared for that?
I talk so much about music. I talk about neckties. I talk about Jeremy being weird.
Well, that's not very
This
nice.
is a great
That's
tease
not
so
what happened.
far.
Yeah.
Well,
I've
it is what happened. It's
I've
always
never
what
heard of Lord's Ribs before. I never heard that song. Ribs?
You didn't think she
'Cause
didn't
you're
have any
out.
ribs?
Yeah. I never heard that song. I've heard other songs of hers, but not that one.
It's such a good episode that we didn't even get to Olive Garden breadsticks are bad.
Yeah. Big topic.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
They're not that great.
You're killing it.
Next
We
week on
unveiled
Mystery Crate.
a new segment in this episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great.
Oh, we
did.
A new game.
Yeah. I'm not going to say what it is. You have to listen to find out.
And also, I swallow a sword.
2 weeks in a row, huh?
Did I say that last week?
Yes.
did, yeah.
Yep.
Check it out.
I'm curious what you guys think of something I said earlier this week when we were talking about Deion Sanders and Michael Irvin and the position that Deion Sanders finds himself in at Colorado, where I was reading about his health issues. 2 toes amputated, blood clots that are causing leg pain, and also an intestine that's functioning as his bladder in a way that makes them have to put a portable toilet on the sideline during games because he had bladder cancer, and so he's going to the bathroom a lot, and there has to be a bathroom right on the sidelines. And if you're Deion Sanders at this point, 58 and in health that is making you have a press conference after a loss where you're apologizing to the reporters because you've had to hide pain all your life. Football players don't talk about pain, don't talk publicly about pain, but here you have 2 amputated toes. It's painful for him to walk. A lot of people believe that Deion Sanders had some sort of natural gift that a holy man reached into his crib, but that was a person who was very prepared for football. Like, he cares deeply about football, and now the kids are gone. The kids might need you in Cleveland, or in Jacksonville, but you're coaching Colorado, and there has to be a toilet on the sidelines for you because you're at an age where health stuff happens. And I just thought to myself, I said it matter-of-factly, oh, he's going to leave that contract early, right? He's not going to just keep staying there fighting. And I said it matter-of-factly, and I don't think it's fair to say it matter-of-factly because he said, no, I'm in a hurry to get back. I don't miss practice. I don't miss practices. I have to get back. And I just thought that at this point in his life, all of that wouldn't be worth the amount of inconvenience, no matter how much of your identity you get from being football guy.
People have questioned Deion's commitment to wherever he is because wherever he's coaching, people always talk about him at the next level. Even last year when he was having success, like Jerry Jones, would he possibly bring him in? I think because of all the reasons you just outlined, people should stop doing that. He has bought a lot with what he's overcome to come back, and it's not easy. He's got Kaden Salter now. He doesn't have Shedeur Sanders. He doesn't have a Heisman Trophy two-way player right now. He is going through the hard stuff. College game day ain't going to Boulder these days. It is pretty impressive to see what he's gone through, what he continues to fight through to be there for a whole new crop of kids.
I'm not actually questioning his commitment. I'm questioning whether any of that is worth it to any human being who has accomplished what he's accomplished in his life. Health stuff goes to the top of the list on how do you feel every day.
I think everybody would understand if he decided to step away at this point. If he did so and we didn't know about his health battles and it was after Shedeur and Travis Hunter left, people would use that as confirmation bias for preconceived notions. But I think he has bought so much in the last few months with things that have been made public that I think everybody would concede you can do whatever you want here.
Once he's volunteering physical pain during games in the press conference because of blood clots and has already had 2 toes amputated and was a symbol for athletic virility at one point, youth, to me, I wouldn't think that all of that is worth it if every physical step is painful. But let's bring in Dave Dameshek. I've told you already and told you before, Football America is a very good podcast, smart podcast, funny, clever, quirky. Your thoughts are what here? I didn't mean for it, and I don't mean for any of it to sound like criticism of his commitment. I'm just looking at it from afar and saying all of that seems not worth it, given that's as high as that's all going to climb. Like, I don't believe there's a next job for him that is higher than that job, and so why do it? But what are your thoughts here, David, as we welcome you in?
Oh, listen, if I'm on a big heater at the 21 table, I am wise enough to pick up my chips and walk away at some point. Yeah, I hear what you're saying about Deion, one of the most charismatic figures in football over the last quarter century, 40 years. But then that informs Shedeur in Cleveland. And I think that is the paradox of Deion is beloved by even in a way that I don't think very many other football luminaries are. He's beloved by today's players. Like 24-year-old cats love Deion Sanders and know the lore of him in a way that they don't know about Jerry Rice or Jim Kelly or guys like that. And so the weight of that is on Shedeur, and it kind of makes it clear to me, like, yeah, that's why nobody wanted to draft him, because of the baggage of his prestigious old man, right? I mean, that's how I hear what you're saying. I know you're talking about Deion, and I'm turning it into a Shedeur conversation. Yeah, I mean, of course I wouldn't hang on there. I feel like Deion is on some level, and I'm going against what you guys are saying, and I'm being more cynical about it here. I feel like no matter what, Deion was going to disprove everybody saying, like, well, he's going to walk away as soon as Shedeur and Travis are gone. He'll be out the door with them. I think he was going to go back no matter what, just to say, like, see, I'm still here. I mean, I can't imagine under any circumstances him being in Boulder, Colorado as the head coach of the Buffaloes in, say, 3 years, 4 years. I think there's...
Well, I just think once you throw the health stuff in with another variable, which is he's not relevant. And he's not going to get relevant there. He's not going to get more relevant there than he already was at the start. Like, he's already done the top end there.
He is a top 10 paid coach in the sport.
Yeah.
I think he's right around 8. I mean, there's a lot of financial reasons to stick around and tough it out. But I'll take the opportunity to transition to the pros since you mentioned Shedeur.
Well, I will say one of the great stories in football lore is the Bill McCartney, Sal Anessi, Colorado Buffalo, that Sal Anessi is making time with Bill McCartney's daughter and impregnates her. And now Bill McCartney surely has some feelings about that. And then Sal Anessi takes ill and then becomes the inspirational figurehead of the Colorado Buffalo program. Imagine how Bill McCartney must have felt with all the stuff he was doing on the side with spreading the good word, and now his daughter.
Dameshek, you're one of the strangest people in the universe.
What are we talking
Mike
about?
was trying to transition to something.
It's one of the funniest stories there is. I'm sad.
But
obviously.
no, but now
Salalosi.
Tony just told a good one.
You've got to explain it to Tony now, because you used the phrase "making time with Bill McCartney's daughter," and he doesn't know what
Bill McCartney?
he doesn't know
I
what
don't know
you're
that fool.
talking about.
Between the sheets in the
No,
bed.
I get that.
No, we got
that part. I don't know the
They
players.
banged.
I don't know the characters
They
we're
banged.
talking about.
We got that part, but we don't know the players. Anyways, we do know Shedeur
Let's
Sanders,
move on.
who reportedly told the Baltimore Ravens he didn't want to go there, which is funny because that would have been his quickest pathway to possibly playing. But the Baltimore Ravens are a 7.5-point dog. I read earlier today that 60% of the AFC Offensive Players of the Week played the Baltimore Ravens in that week that they won the award. So, Dave, a lot of people have yet to write this team off, but if they do indeed miss the playoffs this season, that's it. That's a window closing, no?
It all starts with the Baltimore Ravens, this era with Lamar and all of that, and a fascinating discussion to be had is, does Lamar at this stage in his career need to sort of look at Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and the mid-career adjustments they made fundamentally in the way they played the game? this Lamar Jackson with the string of injuries now. Like, I mean, you know, that it's not like, I got dinged up. I mean, this is, you know, a plague now through his MVP, laden career. I mean, he still keeps having to sit down for long stretches here. The John Harbaugh element of it is here's the amnesia everybody has about this. They had to sign Joe Flacco after he wins the Super Bowl, so they're saddled with that luxury tax of having to keep the guy who won them the Super Bowl. But then it hamstrings them for the next several years, and they get Lamar Jackson at the back end of the draft after the Jacksonville Jaguars take the great Taven Bryan instead of taking Lamar Jackson. And midway through Lamar Jackson's rookie season, they're scuffling along. They're under 500. And the Ravens and John Harbaugh agree, that's it. We're going to part ways. And there are public announcements about this. Like, we great run. We're just going to move on from Coach Harbaugh after this year. We all that kind of stuff. And then Joe Flacco gets hurt. And they have to put Lamar Jackson in, and they take off. And now all of a sudden, John Harbaugh's gotten another, however many years it's been, of like, what a brilliant savvy. Look how nimble he is. He adjusted. He went from Flacco to Lamar Jackson and didn't skip a beat. He just got jammed into having to put Lamar Jackson in there. So, yes, long story short, Mike Ryan, I do think that this is probably the point to take the off-ramp with John Harbaugh, as good as he is and as quickly as he'll get scooped up by another pro football team. I think that this is where you have to pull the plug, because we can talk about – here's where Nick Wright and I park our cars in the same garage on this show and otherwise. It does matter what you do in January, and they don't do anything in January, even though they have the guy who's won multiple MVPs at QB. Yes, this would be the place to move on and reassess things.
I can't believe what he's saying here.
It feels like the window's closing.
But
here,
it's 5 games. They're 7.5-point dog at home because $160 million of their $280 million salaries are hurt.
But it's not getting any better next season if they miss a playoff.
You're not parked in their garage?
Can I throw an idea out there? Baltimore Ravens call the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they say, you know what? We want to propose a trade. John Harbaugh for Mike Tomlin. Whoa. Do you do it?
I'm not interested in that because
Wow.
that doesn't address what the Steelers' problem is. But yeah, that's kind of a fun comp. I mean, who is perceived to be the better coach at this point? I'm hardly objective on the subject.
But what are we doing in general? Okay, because he's not wrong about Harbaugh and what happened with Lamar Jackson. But we can do this to anybody. Belichick didn't want to play Brady. Like, Bledsoe's lungs filled with blood, and then he had to play Brady. And then
I don't think that's true, though, Dan. I think that in fact, I've talked to guys who were in that locker room, and the only guy, even after, in the AFC title game, Tom Brady is in there, starts the game in Heinz Field after the Tuck rule and all of that, survives that. He starts the game in Pittsburgh. They're, I think, 9.5 or 10-point dogs or whatever they were. I was in the stadium that day.
Oh, my God, he knows.
He happens to know.
Come, everyone. Come and listen.
Happens to know.
He happens to know. Well informed.
It was 14-3 at the half. You know, it was a shocker for the Patriots. You know, this who in the hell are they? They got the Michigan Wolverines backup quarterback playing against us, and we're losing 14-3 at the half. And this was at the start of when they had halftime performances. I don't know if you've heard about the big announcement about Bad Bunny getting a lot of heat. But anyway, this was at the dawn of this era where they jammed in pop stars into halftimes of big football games. And Sheryl Crow hits the stage at Heinz Field. The locals are just besides we're beside ourselves. And Sheryl Crow steps up on the stage. She's like, "How you doing, Pittsburgh? All I want to do." Everybody boo. Everybody booed. It was a terrible day. Anyway, after they survive that game, Brady gets hurt, and Bledsoe has to come in during that game, throws a touchdown pass. The Patriots beat the Steelers that day. Even after Bledsoe coming in as the relief pitcher and playing hero there, everybody in the locker room knew Brady was the answer, including Belichick. It is a balls move if you think about it, that he has the highly paid Drew Bledsoe, and he decides to roll against the mighty St. Louis Rams in the Super Bowl with Tom Brady. But apparently it was not that bold a stroke, according to, I've talked to, like I say, to a bunch of those guys that were on the team, and they said, oh, no, there was no question about it. It had to be Brady in the Super Bowl.
But I wasn't talking about the Super Bowl. I'm talking about Brady's first start. Belichick didn't want to play him. Bledsoe got hurt on the sidelines, his lungs filled with blood, and then Brady's their starter. This is going to happen here with Carson Wentz now. Like, J.J. McCarthy may or may not be good, but Carson Wentz did something at the end of the games. And until he loses, they're not going to take him out. They'll keep him in there because these coaches don't actually know as much. We give them a lot of credit for stuff, but you just fired John Harbaugh after 5 bad games when his entire roster is hurt.
Well, you know what's funny about, the best, most recent example of that is Jackson Dart and Brian Dable. Dable did not want to have to put Dart in until the last possible moment of the season, where he absolutely had to pull the ripcord. He wanted to ride with Russell Wilson because riding with Russell Wilson extends his job, the life of his job, as long as they're getting by with that. And at the same time, I think there was a case as recently as before Thursday Night Football that you could say, like, well, what Danny Dimes is doing as Indiana Jones there is worthy of Brian Dable losing his job in New York, that he let him out of the building. It's the same effect that I keep saying over and over again about, the Steelers letting George Pickens out of the building shows a flawed approach. Same thing with not drafting Jackson Dart when he was sitting there when you need a quarterback. So Brian Dable, you could make a case like, man, this cat doesn't know what he's doing. Look how good Danny Dimes is with better coaching there. But now all of a sudden that's obscured by the fact that Jackson Dart is taking off, and that may well save Brian Dable's job. To your point, he had to put Jackson Dart in because Russ was so bad, but he didn't want to have to put him in this early in the season.
It is weird to me the way that we take these leaders and we assign all sorts of intellect to them that they don't often have. He is
like Nick Sirianni.
Well, that's one, but it feels like I can do this with a whole lot of people because
I know, but you need to have like the must-have with very few exceptions. Andy Reid, the era of Andy Reid, and KOC and McVay and Shanny and all of that. And amidst this, like, you got to have a progressive, offensive-minded play caller and orchestrator of all things. And while all that's going on, Nick Sirianni has been in 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls, both against the Chiefs, and he won one of them. Nick Sirianni, that guy, the guy who yells at his own fans, that guy. It's paradoxical, and I advise the 31 other teams to not pay any mind to what the Eagles are doing. Whatever voodoo they have worked to earn that Lombardi, it is not your business. Same thing with the tush push, and I heard you talking about that earlier. Very quickly, I just want to say, the idea that, like, it's boring and all of that, completely agree. But I thought last Thursday night, the Rams against the Niners, Mac Jones is out there on one leg, and with his weird bosoms that he has that are created.
What?
By
Bosoms
pads.
plural?
Mac Jones.
He's got pad tits. He's got those.
Whoa! He's got a ripped jersey. Damn it, Shaq. What are you talking about? Guy's a warrior out there.
His performance was admirable. I just said as much. It was great.
I thought
but
bosom
he
was
does
singular.
nevertheless. Look at
got
him.
pad tits.
He's titsy. But anyway, listen.
Pad tits.
Listen, he wasn't farting his way down the field, as someone once said. That is a great way. If you want to campaign against the tush push, Dan, that's the way to do it. Like, do we want to watch these high-end athletes fart their way up and down the field?
They've got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith.
I know, I love it.
And Goddard.
But listen, Mac Jones, he's on. They can be nihilistic with him. He's the backup QB, but still, in the big spot, they said, hey, Mac, we need you to tush push it here. And so he did, and they got the first down in that spot. So with 2 minutes or so left in the game, or even less than that, I thought it was telling, or I guess it's in the last 45 seconds or 30 seconds even, the Rams are in a spot to get into the end zone. I'm fuzzy, or was it just to get a first down within the,
There are 2 minutes left in the game, and
they can't. But the point is, they couldn't tush push. All the fumble and all, they couldn't. They had to run with Kyron Lacey in tight formation. I mean, Kyron Williams in tight formation and everything. They couldn't use Matthew Stafford because of his bad back to tush push. And so that's a competitive disadvantage that the Rams now have that we need to pay attention to through these playoffs. And so therefore, I think you kind of have to keep the tush push, at least for this season, but it's all a moot point because after this season is over, they are going to get rid of it no matter how much anybody likes it in Philly or otherwise.
David, it's now week 6. Is this an acceptable time to have Baker Mayfield as my MVP leader?
I mean, if you want to start with this jive, go ahead. Have time. It's just, there are only so many minutes left on the big blue marble. And if you want to devote them to talking about in early October who the MVP of pro football is, have at it. I like to talk about more important things like this. My son, my 11-year-old boy, came to me the other day out of the blue. Just, there wasn't like it was a part of an ongoing discussion. He came to me and he said this, potato or tomato? And I said, what? What do you mean, potato or tomato? He said, you can only have one for the rest of your life, and then the other one is out. You can never eat it again. I turn it to you guys.
Potato.
What's the? Well, that's the easy answer.
Oh.
You got to take it easy. Don't jump into something because this is the rest of your life now.
You're eliminating tomatoes
I love
as
pasta.
an ingredient on everything.
Get Alfredo pasta.
No,
Okay.
bye potato. Hello tomato.
You'll never have French fries again? Are you insane?
Or chips?
You can't have ketchup.
Mashed potatoes?
Here's the thing. Never going to that's right.
All
Never gonna
sauces, almost all sauces have a tomato base.
Italian sauces.
I mean, here's what the wise asses say. Like, so what? I can eat Alfredo. But listen, you're going to be awfully resentful of that 200th plate of chicken piccata at the Italian restaurant while everyone around you is eating meatballs and spaghetti and pizza and all the rest of it. You will come to resent Italian food very quickly. You know what else is out without tomatoes? Barbecue. You want same effect. Like, oh, I can go dry rub. How much dry rub do you want to want passing your lips for the rest of the time without sweet barbecue sauce to go along with it? It's a very tough question. I'm not saying there are easy answers here.
You flipped me.
Salsa.
Yeah, you flipped me. Get out of here, potato.
Well, wait a minute, okay? It is a more difficult question than you thought because everyone's instantaneous reaction is going to be, I've got to keep potatoes. But then you eliminate pizza, and now we've got a real problem. We've got a dilemma.
That's the crux. Here's the other thing for tomato. One more thing on tomato is, by the way, potato, if you're a vodka drinker, it's out. So that's a shame. Mike Fuentes
So's the Bloody
called that
Mary.
one out.
So's the Bloody Mary.
Well, and also, for me, I love, with my French fries, I like some ketchup. And now I don't get that. So, that's a big loss for my French fry eating.
Damashek, I will tell the people again to watch Football America twice a week, Mondays and Fridays on YouTube, where he does whatever he wants, as he does on our show when we ask him questions, and he took it to potato, tomato, and we were trying to do football with him.
He's got no time for Baker Mayfield MVP.
He does whatever it is that he wants
He's
to do.
a hater. He hasn't forgiven him for winning that playoff game.
Pad tits. That's right. Pad tits is what he has, and Steve Smith has a bunch of stories. He joins us on today's Football America coming up at the top of the hour. It's grand stuff. Be there. Gino Fuentes, Mike Fuentes, and like I say, Steve Smith. What else do you need?
Well, more than that, because
Gino Fuentes' second billing.
How mad is Mike Fuentes that Gino was said first?
That's right. Gino went first.
Gino Fuentes, Mike Fuentes. What else do you need? Well, more than that. I need more than that. But
Pad tits is all I need.
Pad tits. Oh, I know. We unveil a brand new game with Steve Smith. Two of the stoniest philosophers of our society right now are, of course, Matthew McConaughey and Mike McDaniel. So we put Steve Smith to the test. We play McC or McD. I give him quotes, and he has to determine which stony philosopher issued them.
We know where Jeremy stands.
See you later, Damashek. Again, I will tell the people, Football America, it is fun, it is unusual, it is smart as well, and you will enjoy it. Thank you, Damashek, for being on with us. One of the things that he mentioned from that Rams game, because I thought he was talking about something else. I thought he was talking about the last 2 minutes of the game. Yes, the Rams lost that game because on 4th and short with the lead late, they couldn't keep the ball because they couldn't convert on a 4th and short. But late in that game, Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit said because there were 2 minutes left in the game and the Rams were in position to win it and Stafford had the football, he said there's no one you want more in this situation. There's no one you want more having the football in this situation than Matthew Stafford. And I think he's probably right, isn't he? Like, for all the conversations that we had all along the path of, is Matthew Stafford worthy of being the highest paid quarterback in football? He was for one time, so was Carson Wentz. As a value trait, the one that Mahomes and Brady have is that late in the game, everyone knew, including the other team, you don't want him to have the football. That's where we are with Stafford, right? We're approaching there with Mayfield. I'm still expecting, as Mike makes Mayfield MVP in week 6, I'm still expecting the game when Mayfield throws the interception late, because that is he's a reckless quarterback.
It happened against Philadelphia. He had another opportunity down the line, but with Baker, big champion for a healthy amount of interceptions. I mean, because he goes for throws that no one else can make.
But when I'm talking about trust late in games, I no longer expect Matthew Stafford to throw the late interception. I did when he was in Detroit. He's not a different quarterback. Baker Mayfield spoke to this week, okay? Because he says, I used to be immature. I used to be reckless. I haven't changed. I'm still the same person. But now that we're winning and I'm at the top of the standings and we've won the division 4 straight times, now the perception of me has changed. I'm going to keep slinging it fearlessly, and sometimes I'm going to throw interceptions.
I told you guys that I try and not get too high, not get too low, which is something that I was not doing early on in my career. But, early on in my career, it's looked as cocky, immature. Now it's moxie. He's a dog. So it's same, different day. Just as long as you play well, they change the narrative. But you just got to be yourself, and I've always been like that.
I was going to say, have you changed that much? I mean, everybody has a natural growth, and we're not meant to stay stagnant. But you still seem, at the core, the same person.
Yeah, at the core, definitely the same. But matured in different ways, not worried about little things that really don't matter. Now, you put it in the landscape of a competitive football game and that atmosphere, that'll never change.
Can you guys just freeze that right there? Just freeze the end of that. And I want you to look in both stature and body language. That does not look like an NFL quarterback. In stature and body language, just how he's sitting there, that is not the quarterback to be most feared in the league at any time in my lifetime, except for perhaps before I was born, when Sonny Jurgensen was a quarterback of small stature. Like, physically, look at the way that he doesn't even fit in that shirt. He does not look like the guy who's leading you as the greatest of the Warriors. It's an oversized shirt. Look at him. Just look at his body language. You're used to the quarterback filling the screen. I don't mean this as any disparagement of it, because the balls are not on the screen, and if they were, he would then have the stature of an NFL quarterback.
I love that he could have very easily played into whatever narrative you want the NFL media. It would further endear yourself to the media. This guy learned how to mature. This is the story. No, you guys had it wrong. I was this kind of dog the entire time. I went into Pittsburgh with the Cleveland Browns as a number 1 undersized draft pick, and I won a playoff game. I tried to play hurt. They got rid of me. They had me as DN scout team on Carolina. You had it wrong. I haven't changed.
It's almost like the RG3 thing where it's like all these great coaches, like, they didn't know how to coach me. Yeah. That's basically what we're looking at.
Only in this instance, RG3 was right. Whereas RG3 is kind of a joke because he's like going at like Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan. Like, all right, buddy. Right. These are like the greatest coaches.
But you look at
of the
Stefanski,
era.
And it's like Stefanski's a good coach, and it's like didn't know how to use him. Really.
Botched it. But I will say, from talking to people that were really plugged in, maybe that had to happen to Baker in Cleveland. Like, the locker room had turned against him. It was like a Miles Baker thing. and they went with Miles.
That feels like I happen to know. That feels like
He happens to know?
Talking to people.
Great Scott, he happens to know.
I wasn't Browns fan.
Gather everyone. Get the children. He happens to know. So wise.
They did a bad job of mending those fences. Baker probably shouldn't have played through that injury, and everything was made worse by both his performance and the relationships that he had in that locker room were made worse by him trying to be out there for his team, which is something that has remained consistent throughout his career up until this day, where he puts out a social media posting, him standing in front of his teammates, not a solo photo, him in front of his teammates in that tunnel as he's getting heckled, and said all sorts of foul things in his direction, name the place, name the time.
Speaking of football, we have a guest in the wings here who is going to give you something that you really want right now.
Matthew Berry. Matthew Berry. Matthew Berry. Matthew Berry.
He's really got to like that as intro. It's strong. Anybody would want to be introduced that way, even if their name weren't Matthew Berry. Like, he's here to give us very
It'd be odd for someone else.
It would be, but I'd like it if it was my introduction. I have to be honest. If I had that music, I would like it, even though my name is clearly not Matthew Berry. Everyone here is, look at how hyped everyone is. They're here hyped for fantasy. Matthew.
Can you hit a rewind one more time? I love the intro so much.
Let's do it again so that he can just go straight into giving you maximum information as fast as he can when you need it this weekend.
Matthew Berry. Matthew Berry. Matthew Berry. Matthew Berry.
Unbelievable. I love that music. That's great. I'm gonna make my wife listen to that. Listen, Dan, so far this year, no team has allowed more touchdown passes than the Baltimore Ravens. They've given up 8 in just the past 2 weeks before. Over the last 4 weeks, Matthew Stafford ranks 4th in fantasy points per pass attempt. Stafford gets the Ravens this week. So far this year, there are only 5 teams in the NFL with a higher pass rate over expectation than the Denver Broncos. Bo Nix is averaging 35 pass attempts per game, and this week gets a Jets team that allows touchdown passes at the second highest rate in the NFL. So far this year, the San Francisco 49ers are allowing the 5th most receptions to opposing running backs. This week, they have to face Rashad White, a good pass-catching running back who on the year last week had a 12.5% target share. He also had 75% of the Buccaneers' total team touches. I saw you talk about Baker Mayfield. Baker and White will be busy on Sunday against the Niners, who have allowed, by the way, 120 yards to scrimmage to an opposing running back 3 of the last 5 games. Rashad White about to go off. Over the last 3 weeks, only Chris McCaffrey and Josh Jacobs are averaging more touches per game than Quinshon Judkins, who plays for Baker's former team, the Browns. And it's worth noting that no team allows more rushing yards per game or higher yards per carry to opposing running backs than the Chicago Bears. I bring that up because last week we saw the emergence of Bill Krosky Merritt Jacory, as some people call him, 6.6 yards per carry, highest in the NFL for a running back. Every single game this year, Tedero McMillan of the Carolina Panthers has gotten at least 8 targets. Wide receivers that have seen at least 7 targets against the Cowboys this year are averaging 26 fantasy points per game, and every single one of them scored at least 15. A Tet breakout game is coming, and it's coming this Sunday. By the way, over the last 2 weeks, Stephon Diggs is the 10th best wide receiver in fantasy football. He's had back-to-back games with a 40% target share. He's the 10th best fantasy wide receiver without a touchdown. Every week this year, but one Cortland Sutton has finished as a top 16 wide receiver. 2 last things here. Last week, Jake Tungus is the San Francisco 49ers tight end. He had a 23% target share. He scored in 3 out of 5 games this year. And each of the last 2 games, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have allowed multiple touchdowns to opposing tight ends. Not saying he's awesome, but could you do worse? 100% if you're desperate for a tight end. And by the way, over the last 2 weeks, no tight end in the NFL has a higher utilization score than Mason Taylor, the Jets 88. A utilization score is a metric that we came up with at fantasylife.com that uses all the underlying data to come up with one simple number of how an NFL player is used in fantasy statistics. And it's an ultimate predictor of future fantasy success. On a scale of 1 to 100, Mason Taylor's an 88, the highest of any tight end in the NFL over the last 2 weeks.
So from everything that you just said, Matthew, can you tell us what you believe to be your surest bet this week? Like the thing that you feel most confident in based on what you're watching in terms of mismatches between here's a team's strength versus a team's weakness?
Yeah, it's a little dangerous because I'm banking on Bryce Young, who has struggled so far this year, but I'm a huge believer in Tedero McMillan's ability, his usage, and it's an unbelievable matchup with the Cowboys. So I am all in on Tetairoa McMillan, and I do believe a big breakout game is coming, and I feel like it's going to be this weekend against the Cowboys. Rashad White, as well as we talked about the Buccaneers running back, just the workload he's going to get and how much the 49ers struggle against pass-catching running backs. So those would be my two biggest ones of all the ones I just told you, Dan.
Again, for the audience, you guys know that this guy does it better than anybody when it comes to giving you information that's very well informed. It's very hard to predict this stuff. All he's doing is probabilities, but it's very researched probabilities.
He's well informed. You can find everything Matthew's got on fantasy, fantasylife.com. Check out his fantasy football happy hour Sundays at noon on YouTube and on Peacock.
Every day on YouTube, Chris.
Every day.
It's Monday through Friday on YouTube, noon Eastern, and then, of course, on Peacock and wherever you get podcasts.
Get it right, Chris.
Yeah, Chris.
No, it was a quick text from me. It's not Chris's fault.
It is Chris's fault.
I should have been clear.
Chris is going to get chopped from the Guillotine League, by the way.
I didn't happen to know.
And from the show.
Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate the time, sir. Talk to you next week.
Thanks, Dan. See you guys. Good luck.
Thank you, sir. We are going to open up the club here in a little while, and I do want to update some polls as well. What are you guys laughing about? You guys are just making fun of
At least
Chris
I had
there?
good imaging.
You moron.
Matthew Berry.
Yeah, it's really good.
That does save you a little bit.
It is good.
We have to fade it down so he doesn't sound like he's underwater.
We're in a fantasy league with Matthew Berry, Dan, and things are heating up in our fantasy league.
What's happening? Are you guys beating him?
No. Well, I mean, there's basically like 6 of the 12 teams are active, basically, and we're getting to the point. It's a guillotine league, so every week the person with the lowest score that week gets eliminated from the league, and then all their players become available. So we're getting to the point where now the sharks are starting to bite here, and we're getting down to the point where the only people that are actually competing are going to be left soon, and we're going to see who's who. But you only have $1,000 that you can bid on each player, and they're blind bids for the entire season.
Dan's spending a lot of money.
Yeah,
you're in the league, Dan. I don't know if you're aware.
The team that you are on has $8 left, and we're about 5 weeks into the season, so a bit of mismanagement of the funds so far because you have to kind of plan for the full season here. Now, that makes things interesting because then you figure out, like, do I have to bid this amount or do I only bid enough so that this person who needs this position can't get this player, which is where we're at. He said he's high on Mason Taylor. We knew that from Matthew Berry because he spent $26 on Mason Taylor this week when, if you're kind of paying attention to our league, probably could have got him for 3 or even a waiver claim potentially.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't hold it against Matthew that we
that
stink.
he has more information.
Matthew's somewhat at a disadvantage in our league because he actually knows what he's doing, and it's not a bunch of idiots who are getting players for $1 to $3 or $350.
Mike Fuentes picked up Malik Neighbors 2 weeks ago for $250. The next week he tears his ACL and he's gone.
This league is honestly awesome. Like, I wish every fantasy
By the way,
league was
Mike
like
Ryan
this.
is about to get chopped.
And it's guillotineleague.com. Guillotineleague.com is where we do it.
Don't tell him so he's not paying attention. He's got some players
He's got some
out
good
there.
players.
He's
Me and you
got
are going to have to
some
fight for those
players.
players.
Yeah.
I got Jackson Smith and Jigba. I'm calling it.
Gino Fuentes, star of Football America, is the one who's spending prodigiously on my fantasy team in a way that is reckless.
He has
and
$8 left?
Unwise. $8. That means I have $8
Out of
left.
1,000.
Oh, I know. I'm just listening to this. I'm enjoying this.
He was there the whole time.
He's been lurking.
I just enjoyed this. This is great listening.
Oh, no,
I didn't
now he
realize I
knows.
overbid for Mason Taylor. I'm in a 20 league, so I'm just like, what's he worth? I grab it, so there you go.
So I was curious about that because we were talking, Matthew, off air about it. We're like, poor Matthew, like, he actually knows what these players are worth. So he's going in there, he's like, man, this person's worth $97. Like, this idiot league, we could have had him for like $4.
Yeah, I'm playing it I'm playing it legitimately, like it's a straight up league. Moron that I am.
So are we. We're playing it straight too.
Yeah, there's no logic to this league, but it is. But at least I practice what I preach. As I'm sitting here, touting Mason Taylor. At least I'm putting my money where.
And Tech
where
McMillan too.
Why are you still here listening to us talking about
We're talking
how
about his league.
shitty our fantasy league is?
No, it's
Matthew
awesome.
Berry.
I'm so thrilled that you guys are playing Guillotine League.
Matthew Berry.